And we go back to our top story now. Cosatu's General Secretary Zwelinzima Vavi is at the center of a sex scandal. A female colleague has accused him of raping her. He's denied these claims but has admitted to having sex with her. For some insight into the story, political analyst and UJ Vice Chancellor Professor Tinyiko Maluleke joins us now. Professor, welcome. Thank you for coming in this morning. What's your take on this matter?
Let me start by correcting that I'm the UJ Deputy Vice Chancellor.
Deputy Vice Chancellor. Thank you for joining us.
Well, I think it's very difficult times for Vavi. It must be even worse times for the woman in question as far as this story is concerned. Yeah. In a country where violence against women, rape, HIV, all of those things are at the levels that they are, we cannot treat this story as just another one of those. We've got to be concerned. So I think if you add to this the persona of Zwelinzima Vavi and the factions that are raging inside of Cosatu, you have a mix of many things going on around the story which are concerning, whichever way you look at it.
Well, what do you've just touched on the issue of the factions within Cosatu at the moment. What do you make of the timing of these allegations, coupled with the probe that Cosatu that Cosatu is having on him at the moment?
Well, you see, it's difficult to make a one-to-one connection between this allegation and the so-called political conspiracy against Zwelinzima Vavi. One has to leave that to those who are closer to the issues. On the face of it, when a woman alleges a matter such as this, she has to be taken seriously, especially if the allegation involves a boss, someone who is a superior at work. But it's possible that there are political machinations behind it. But whether or not they are there, the allegation is serious enough to demand proper attention.
Well, you've just touched on a matter of employer-employee relations, first of all, or labor relations right there, him being her boss, her being a subordinate. As a founding member of Corruption Watch, does this have deeper implications for Zwelinzima, the man, Zwelinzima Vavi, the man? Should he then, what should we expect from him as someone who may perhaps have raised himself up to a higher level of expectations, perhaps, as a founding member of that NGO Corruption Watch?
Well, he has already issued an apology and he has released certain information that relates to this. He has admitted to the sexual act having happened between them. So on the face of it, he has started to do a few constructive things around this matter as a person. But as you rightly point out, the question of his integrity is now on the agenda in a manner that none of the previous issues that were raised about the sale of the property of Cosatu and other allegations, all of these do not compare to this one as far as the question of his ability to judge, his ability to act, his ability to be exemplary, his moral authority, if you like. This is what is now at stake around this matter.
In our South African context, we know that we've had political figures who've been subject, in the instance of our President Jacob Zuma, subject to rape claims and allegations. In the instance of Minister Fikile Mbalula, he also faced allegations of sexual misconduct. Is it a weakness that our political leaders have? Is it a weakness our political leaders have? And what should we be expecting of people in places of power?
I don't want to generalize, even with the three examples that you have given, because there are a lot more millions of men in South Africa than those, and in leadership positions as well. So one doesn't want to fall into the trap of generalizing. However, it is true that men in power, people in power, women in power, a lot more is expected of them than the ordinary people. And it has happened with President Jacob Zuma, as you rightly say. The important thing to do here is to assume the woman innocent until proven guilty, in as much as people want to assume the accused, in this case, innocent until proven guilty. I think the same should apply to the other side throughout.
The expectation being that the law will take its course.
I believe that investigations are ongoing inside of Cosatu in terms of internal processes. I believe that Vavi himself has laid a charge of extortion. I'm not sure whether the woman has laid a charge of rape. But one hopes that all these processes will lead to a fair outcome and just outcome.
What do you make of Vavi going public at this stage? Is it with his version of events? Is it a matter of simply trying to control the outcome and just mitigating whatever damage might come out of this, or is this an honest him just honestly stepping forward to tell the truth?
I think I have to assume the best possible intentions and motivation from him, which is that he just wants to tell the truth. Of course, the questions that every citizen now has is this all there is to it? Because as we receive information, we look at it and we say, could there be more? What is missing? And those questions will linger until the processes of investigation and perhaps the legal processes take their course.
Now, Mr. Vavi has opted to file a criminal case against his accuser. Do you think he has a case as far as extortion is concerned?
It's too early to tell, certainly from a non-legal person, but I do think that he is doing everything he can to put his side of the story on the table. I believe that the woman has spoken out. One of the newspapers have reported that she too has spoken out. So it seems to me that a battle has already started between the two sides. Perhaps one must understand that there is the legal court. There is the legal, the court of public opinion, if
Absolutely.
you like, and there are several little courts going on inside of Cosatu itself. So I think this is part of the battle for their hearts and souls, and both sides are engaging in it.
Well, thank you very much for your time. That was political analyst Professor Tinyiko Maluleke speaking to us about the controversial allegations made against Cosatu General Secretary Zwelinzima Vavi.
News that moves. eNCA.com.